right now. Joining me at this time, she's gearing up for the Girl Fight Wrestling show this coming Tuesday at Jeffersonville, Indiana. And we're going to learn more about her and what she's got in store for 2016. Her name is Savannah Evans. She is with me right now. Good evening, Savannah.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing real good. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Truly appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem at all. I'm glad to be on.
So, as I point out, you're going to be at the Girl Fight Wrestling show in Indiana this coming Tuesday at Jeffersonville, Indiana. You are in a six-women's tag team match. We're going to get to the Girl Fight show a little bit later in the interview, but we're focused on how you got started and everything. That being said, what made you decide to become a wrestler? How did it all start off for you?
Okay, let me see. I know, like growing up, I love, wrestling, watching all the time. But of course, a lot of people did. But what got me into it, I think, was, I'd always told myself, well, that would be, cool to try. I think I could do that. A lot of people say it to themselves, but I think I was just more for it. Like I was just ready to get there and try it. When I turned 18, I actually looked around for wrestling schools in my area. At the time, though, I was living in Colorado, and there just wasn't a lot out there that I found. But my family was about to move back home to Charlotte, North Carolina, so I looked at wrestling schools in that area and found out about high spots, and it wasn't that far from where we were moving. So once we moved, I checked out, well, no, I didn't check out high school first. I actually told myself I wanted to focus on college first. So once I finished college, then I looked into high spots, and I was able to, go down there, check out the facility, and ask about training. They wanted to make sure, people signing up know what they're getting into. So when you first go, you have to sit and watch the training session, and then if you still want to go forward with it, they'll sign you up and you can start whenever you want. So I signed up I think it was the week after, and I've been going ever since. Like not a lot of people get to live out their dreams, and I'm lucky enough to do that. I'm glad that I did take those steps to kind of, get my feet wet and do wrestling. I'm definitely glad I did.
Now, for those who haven't had a chance to see you wrestle, whether it's in person or whether it's through YouTube or some other video websites, how would you best describe your wrestling style?
My style. I'm very tempted to say, I like to do whatever works, but maybe more of like a lot of, not strikes, but I mean a lot of moves I would say that you don't see girls doing generally, like, the face buster and some comical girl stuff. Like I don't do a lot of that. Definitely into but I love doing like Northern Light suplex, the fisherman suplex, like bigger moves that you can see. And I am definitely like a bigger girl, so I do want to showcase that as well. So definitely moves like that, more of that style and attitude.
I like the sound of that. The striking and everything, adding that to your arsenal, if you will. So a lot of wrestlers' arsenal. Um, and I want to ask you from a wrestler's perspective, um, there's a move that tends to be used a lot. It seems like every other wrestler tends to use it. It's a super kick. Of course,
Mhm.
the first person I seen did the super kick was Shawn Michaels, and then since then, it's like every other wrestler, whether it's WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor, every other wrestler, male and female, tends to use the super kick, and people tend to think that may have been the most overused move. Um, what is your take on that particular move, and do you think wrestlers out there tends to use it too much or whatever?
Um, I love super kick. I personally think it's great, but I think it's all about how and when it's used. Like actually, my tag partner Ariel Monroe, she actually likes the super kick, and she used it as a finish. And of course, like you mentioned, Shawn Michaels was probably the first person I saw use a super kick as well, and he used that like his super kick would put people away. That it was it after that. You know what I mean? There was no rest of the match, and I think some people would have a problem with the way super kicks are used now, just thrown around, and they don't really mean anything, as if they didn't mean anything. And then a lot of people say that makes what Shawn Michaels did, look bad. But I think it's all in really how they're used. But I would definitely say, like you said, a lot of people do use them. It's very common to see a super kick on a wrestling show nowadays. Like probably 2 or 3 matches containing super kicks.
Mm-hmm. And with Shawn Michaels, it was the theatrics, the build-up, stepping, stepping, and then you got commentators like, oh, here comes HBK, tuning up the band. Don't turn
Mm-hmm.
around. You're not going to like the view. It was just compelling. It was just, oh, yeah, here it goes. Here it comes. And now it's like,
Right.
and now it's like, okay. Years after his
Mm-hmm.
retirement, a lot of people are using it. I mean, I like it, but I guess it tends to be used I tend to see it every week now. It's like every
Oh,
week.
yeah.
Indies, pro television, like I guess I got a little weary out of the super kick, but I guess
Yeah.
you
I
know.
think some people do, like you were saying, they feel like it's overused and it's not as special anymore, like when Shawn Michaels used it, because like you mentioned, commentary would hype it up as he was doing it. Like you said, Shawn Michaels tuning up the band, we know what's coming next. And it was like a big moment. I actually like Kevin Owens' super kick. Like it comes out of nowhere. Like
Mhm.
there's no anticipation for it. It's just bam, oh my gosh, super kick. Um, but I think a lot of people criticize some indie guys for using the super kick too much. So I definitely see what you're saying.
And I guess I like Kevin Owens' kick. I even like the Young Bucks kick, especially when they do it together. And Kevin Kelly be on super kick.
Yeah.
It's just, but I guess there's the pros and cons when it comes to a certain maneuver that used by a lot of folks. But I guess at the end of the day, you gotta do, what was comfortable, what you at least been trained to do. So I guess it is what it is. Um,
Hmm.
so I want to promote Girl Fight Wrestling, a show that you're going to be a part of this coming Tuesday evening. It's very rare that there's an indie show on a Tuesday. It's usually Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. For Girl Fight Wrestling, they do these, I guess, seasonal type of shows, like once every few months at least. And
Hmm.
this is their first show of the new year, I believe. And
Yeah, I think you're right.
yes, and man, look at the card, and it's just incredible. You are in a 6-person tag team match, and let's talk about this match in particular. How are you feeling about it? What are you looking forward to? When the match begins, like what's your mindset as you prepare for this coming Tuesday evening?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited about the match. I don't know how you couldn't be. I mean, it's it's 3-on-3, and I don't get that situation a lot. When I wrestle, because it's not often where you're on a show where there's 6 girls available to do a match like this. But this one, especially because it's an all girls show. I've had a couple matches like this, but I'm really excited to be able to work with these girls, definitely girls like Scarlett and Solo. I think we'll definitely have a good match, and I'm really kind of anxious to see what the other girls are going to bring. But I feel really good about it, I'm not at all nervous. I know that we're gonna, go out there and kill it, and the fans are gonna love it. That's what I really like about the girl fight shows is the fans. They love it. They just show you so much appreciation and support. It's always a good time.
So looking at the matchup, Scarlett, yourself, and Solo Darling, and whom I've interviewed before, she definitely lives up to the darling part. She is indeed a darling. And then on
Yes, she's amazing.
and on the opposite ends, three other ladies I'm familiar with. Two from my neck of the woods here in Kentucky, Amazing Maria, Lexi Green, and Wing of Honor's Ray Lynn. Miss Twerk Queen herself. Uh, so that's an incredible match. You also got Dominique gonna be there, Ashley America. Ooh, Miss Bullet Babe herself, Amber Gallows, Deja Day,
Yes.
Thunder Kitty, Wendy West, cheerleader Melissa, former TNA wrestler, Crazy Mary Dobson, who made an appearance on NXT. You have Samantha Heights, Hardcore Heather Owens in your main event. Kayla going up against the House of Truth's First Lady, Miss Taylor Hendricks. It's going to be at the arena, 1416 Spring Street. And yes, for a card with such quality and the variety of personalities, and it's all for a whopping price of $5. I mean, who can beat that? This
It really doesn't get any better than
no,
that.
no. So please, if you are anywhere near Jeffersonville, Indiana, and you want to check out quality woman wrestling, please go check this show out. They also got another show in Michigan, um, either later that week or the following week. Just go to Girl Fight Wrestling Facebook fan page for all the details. So other than the Girl Fight show, what are some other upcoming shows you like to promote that you have come headed your way soon?
Yeah, actually later that weekend, I believe it's the 6th, Saturday the 6th, I'll actually be in Spartanburg, South Carolina, appearing for Champions with Attitude for the first time. So I'm kind of excited to see what that company's all about. Sounds exciting. I'll be wrestling Samantha Starr, the daughter of Baby Doll, and it'll be my first time wrestling her. So I'm pretty excited about that experience in general. And the very next day, I'll be wrestling in Asheboro, North Carolina, so a little bit closer to home. It's for Carolina Wrestling Showcase, and I believe I'll be wrestling Maddie Max. I don't know a lot about her, but, if she's trying to make a name for herself in the Carolinas, I definitely am looking forward to, stepping in the ring with her and seeing what she's all about. Now, a couple bigger shows that are coming up in March. Queens of Combat. I'm not sure if your fans are familiar with Queens of Combat. It's another all-girl promotion. You can check them out at combatqueens.com. They are running a double shot. I believe it's March 18th and 19th that weekend. So I will be on both of those shows. And also the week prior to that, March 12th, that Saturday, I'll be in Louisiana, just outside of New Orleans, in a city called Metairie, Louisiana, for Wildcat Sports, and you can definitely check them out at wildcatsports.com. They have just, that particular event has so many matches on it, like so many people. It's so stacked. Like, Brian Kendrick will be there. A lot of people, remember Stevie Richards, he'll be on the card. Their heavyweight champion, Shane Taylor. I think it's going to be a big, amazing show, and they always pull really huge crowds. So anyone that's not familiar with Wildcat, check them out as well. I'm really looking forward to that show.
I'm definitely familiar with Queens of Combat. Definitely a big show in the South. So go check out Savannah there in her home state. And she's on Twitter first and foremost. Her Twitter name is at Savannah Evans NV. That's Savannah. That's VANNAH Evans NV, all put together. No, nothing in between, no underscores, nothing, just Savannah Evans NV. And I'm reading your bio, and it reads pro wrestler and dog whisperer. NC by the way of NV. Now, exactly what is NV for those people who may not be aware of that?
Oh, the state of Nevada.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh,
Hmm.
so, um, so I'm gonna assume you currently live in North Carolina at the moment. Are you a Panthers fan by any chance?
I believe I've just been kind of made into a Panthers fan. I don't keep up a ton with football,
Oh,
but I do
okay.
know we are doing good this season. I think they just made it, or no, did they just make it
Yeah.
into the Super Bowl?
Yes,
Yeah, they
they
just made it
have.
in. So, I mean, yeah, the game last Saturday was really big. I was at my friend's house, and we had a couple people over, and he had like the two screen setup. One had the Rumble on it. The other one had the game. So everyone, feels like everyone is in the Carolina spirit behind the Panthers. So we'll see how they do pulling for them.
And although I am a Saints fan, they are in the same division as the Panthers. I find myself rooting for Carolina mostly because of their quarterback, Cam Newton, who's he looks like he could be a wrestler himself. He's definitely got the charisma. He's definitely got
Oh
that.
yeah.
He's got the enthusiasm and things like that, and he's got some athleticism towards him as well. It should be interesting. Now you mentioned the Royal
Hmm.
Rumble, which was this past Sunday. I talked a little bit about my thoughts. I actually liked the pay-per-view. I wouldn't say I love it. I said I liked it as pertains to certain moments, with the debut of AJ Styles, with the appearance of Sami Zayn, Ambrose and Owens going at it. I mean, and dare I say, I'm okay with Triple H being the new champion, considering what he's done with NXT and rebuilding it into the product that it is today. And people have issues with Triple H for obvious reasons, but as far as him being the new champion, I guess maybe we should have seen it happen. And I get that, wrestling, people tends to say that wrestling on TV, I'm just saying on TV, not the indies, just on TV, can come across as predictable. And maybe it's not necessarily their fault because of social media and people want to post spoilers and stuff like that
Hmm.
before it even happens. But what were your thoughts on the Royal Rumble this past Sunday?
Well, to go off of what you said, the Triple H comment, I do want to preface this with
Hmm.
I wasn't the biggest Triple H fan growing up, but I did really enjoy him in Evolution, and every now and then I'll get behind Triple H. To see him win the Rumble in that moment while I was watching the Rumble, I was like, just devastated that he took the win over Ambrose because I got excited that possibly Ambrose could win the Rumble. But looking back on it, there is a side, an argument for him having the title right now, maybe, especially if it's just temporary, which I think it will be, and
Yeah.
probably the best if it is temporary, just until Mania. But there definitely is the other argument of, well, they could have given that win to a younger guy or someone else, like Ambrose or someone. But looking back on it, I can see why they did it, even if not everyone is happy with that decision. But I think I definitely enjoyed, AJ's debut. Everyone just left their chairs and was screaming. It was out of control when he came out. And definitely to see him and Owen face off. Maybe they could do something with the two of them. But you know, I thought it was a decent pay-per-view. I definitely loved Owens and Ambrose opening up the show, and they did not wait or hesitate a moment to get things really intense as soon as the show, opened. So I didn't think it was a bad pay-per-view. I know some people did.
translation, what she really saying is, it was alright. Let's just,
I just didn't want to say
yeah,
it like that.
yeah. Well, I guess I probably would probably go that route, um, but there are some things I'm looking forward to. If these matches were to come to fruition, AJ Styles, like what they're gonna do with him? Are they gonna put him against Owens? Or after the match they had with Jericho, or they gonna have those two face off at WrestleMania? Just the imagination of what the match will be like between AJ and one of those two guys. And then you have Brock Lesnar and his feud with the Wyatts. If we do end up with a Brock versus Bray at WrestleMania, the only thing that's going to make that interesting is Bray on the microphone and Paul Heyman is on the microphone. Uh, just let that sink in for a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean that's the only thing I can think of as far as potential WrestleMania. And obviously whoever wins the triple threat at Fastlane will face Triple H, which I think is most likely going to be Roman. I know people don't like.
Mhm.
I know people really don't like Roman, and I guess maybe he's just one of those guys that seems to be getting pushed over other guys. I don't hate Roman per se. I think he's a nice fellow, and he's not, he doesn't let the hate get to him, and he's aware of the quote unquote, you know, criticism that heads towards his way, and I get it. His mic skills, maybe because of his character, he can't be saying over the top stuff. Like some people have the freedom to say what they want or to say what they want. Woman, I mean, he'll say one thing that be, oh, okay, that was nice, and then it's like, okay. I don't hate Woman. I think he's nice, he's decent, but I guess people don't like him because there are other guys that people prefer that they should get that opportunity over him. I guess that's
Yeah.
my take
Yeah,
on
I
it.
think he kind of maybe a little bit unfairly gets a lot of hate from fans, and of
Hmm.
course that is the fans' right to, boo and
Yeah,
cheer whoever they
yeah,
want to.
yeah.
I think he handles it pretty good. I I often wonder if he'd be better, like, as a heel if if he wasn't a face right now. Would it be easier to have people boo him because he's a heel rather than boo him because they don't like what he's doing as a face? But I don't think Roman is a bad direction to go in. I know a lot of people would prefer other guys in that
Yeah,
situation.
yeah,
But I would like to think that those other guys will eventually get their shot. But we know how wrestling works, and that
yeah,
doesn't always happen.
yeah. People want to act like, well, quote unquote promoters want to act like they know what's quote unquote best for business, and then they do stuff what they do on TV, and it's like, no, no, that's not what we want to see. That's not what we want. Now, one of my favorite moments of Monday Night Raw history of all time just took place this past Monday, and it's courtesy of a certain guy who just off the set of Ballers in his hometown of Miami, and he's going through his, you know, I consider The Rock the ultimate puppet master because he's got the crowd at the palm of his hands, and whatever he says, whether it's nice or inappropriate, people are going to yell for joy like, yeah, that's the Rock we know and love. I mean, yeah. And he's going to be at WrestleMania too. And, considering that the injuries that they have, Cena, Rollins, Bryan, Orton, Cesaro, and now you can add Nikki Bella to the injury list. Her neck injury ain't looking too good right now, according to reports. It's time for other people to step up. And then you got part-timers like Triple H, Rock, Lesnar, and Jericho. Do you think it's a business move for these guys to come out, or do you think there's more to it? Like maybe some like an Ambrose or Owens or you just bringing AJ Styles, into the mix. Like, you think the fact that these quote unquote part timers come in, and that's taking time away from an Ambrose or Owens or any other guys that's emerging?
Well, I think that bringing in part-timers definitely takes away from time from younger guys or other guys that haven't had the opportunity before. But on the other hand, I think there's a place for all these different scenarios, like bringing in a part-time. There's a place for that. Like you said, a lot of their top guys and girls are out injured right now, so, they can put a part-timer in the spot, but at the same time, they should also be able to bring up someone else as well. If they could do both at the same time, that'd be great. I don't know that they're doing that right now, but, they also have the other option of bringing in guys like AJ Styles that have never been on WTV before. So I think AJ is a great move. I am not upset about, Jericho and Rock coming back. I actually love The Rock, and when you were talking about him, it made me think about how, The Rock can say just the corniest, stupidest thing, but people will chant it, and it's okay because it's The Rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think wrestling is best when there is variety, when not every wrestler looks the same, when not every match is the same, every situation is the same. So if they could bring in a couple part-timers, if they can, build a couple of the younger guys or the guys that haven't had that shot before, as well as bringing in some guys off the indies that have not been in WWE before, if they could just, build around all of these elements, I think it'd be great. But we'll see how WrestleMania turns out. I do have a feeling that it will be a lot of part-timers on the show because there are so many injuries, and maybe WWE just doesn't think that some of their guys are ready to step up, or maybe they just don't want to see them step up. But I think WrestleMania will be interesting. You talked about the possibility of Brock versus Bray, and I think that would be great, but it makes me wonder, well, who would I want to see win that match? Because obviously I don't think Bray still has a WrestleMania win yet.
No.
Brock obviously is the guy that defeated The Undertaker at WrestleMania, and so he has that legacy to uphold, and so if he loses to Bray, what does that say? But I definitely would like to see that match happen. I think it'd be great, personally.
Okay, I'm looking at Bray's WrestleMania record right now. It is 0-2. He lost to Cena 2 years ago, and he lost to Undertaker last year. So basically, you lost to the franchise. You lost to a part-timer a year later, and now you're going up against another part-timer.
Right.
I guess that can go either way, but I won't be surprised if Lesnar were to win, because he called this guy the Conqueror for a reason. So, and even though he basically does suplexes for duration of the match, but I don't know.
Right.
I don't know, but
and I still enjoy Brock. I think they should leave him as like a special attraction. Even if he is just doing suplexes the whole match, I think they should bring him out for just special events, special moments,
yeah.
and when you see him, it's a big deal rather than having him lose to guys that in matches of no consequence and stuff like that. So I believe if he lost to Bray, some people would bring up the argument, oh, well, what does Brock Lesnar mean now? He's not special anymore. He's losing to Bray Wyatt. But like I said, I think I would definitely be interested in seeing that match. I think Bray would benefit, obviously, from having a win at WrestleMania, because I don't think his character has recovered from losing to John Cena, those couple of years ago. Like, he was on a roll up until then. He was doing a lot of good things. People were really interested in his promos and every time he got on the mic. But, losing to John Cena, I think it just was like, wah, wah. And I don't know. I don't think he ever recovered from that, I don't think.
I never really thought of it that way, but I guess considering he's kind of being put to the side now.
Yeah, exactly.
Even with You bring back Luke Harper, who I think is underrated, and then you bring Stronum, who for a guy of his character, he plays that role very well as a guy that you think you can knock down, but he stands on his feet. He fits
Mm.
that role very well. And then you have Eric Rowan, who's pretty much some other guy in the group. It's like it was Bray, Luke, and Eric. Now it's like Bray, Strodom, Luke, and Eric. He's kind of like that fourth guy, you know. So I don't know, but
Mhm.
now, back to you for a moment. If you can have a dream match against anyone, indies, pro, what would your dream match be? Who would you want your opponent to be in this dream match?
Ooh, that I think is always a tough question. There are a couple girls that I can definitely think of. If we're going for from the past, I would have loved, in her prime to have wrestled Lita. Like I adored her growing up, and she's amazing. Her character was just, like they didn't have that at the time. The girl that was just, I'm my own boss. I do my own thing. This is my style. This is my flavor. You like it or you don't, and I liked that. I would say currently I would love to have a match with either Lufisto, she's got like hard hitting style, or Deanna Purrazzo. She's on fire right now. I think, that doesn't need an explanation. She's recently been on NXT a lot and Ring of Honor. She's everywhere. Like I would love to have a match with her.
Lufisto is a thing of beauty, and yeah, and her character very compelling, and her
Hmm.
in-ring ability. She's a female beast, and when she hits you with
Yes.
those kicks, they're going to hurt. I'm just happy not to be on the receiving end. I'm just happy to be a fan in the audience watching someone suffer that. And then you mentioned Deanna. She is making buzz. She's getting buzz right now. From
Oh
last
yeah.
year up to this year. I mean, she was in the main event of NXT last week. Or was it 2 weeks ago in that Battle Royal? She's definitely
Hmm.
making a name for herself. And one more question I want to ask you before I let you go. So the Divas Revolution took off, and it started off good. You had the Bellas, you had PCB, and then you had Team Bad. You had the match of the year, in a lot of people's opinions, Bailey and Sasha Banks at Brooklyn NXT, and then their rematch at the Takeover Respect for the Iron Man match. It should be considered Iron Woman, but that's just here and there. I feel like the Revolution started off good because it was, you get new faces. It gives the woman more airtime, if you will. I think it's starting to fizzle a little bit, and then here comes Sasha Banks on Royal Rumble. I mean, how do you feel about the Divas Revolution? From then to the current, and what do you think they need to do in order to keep this revolution, keep people interested in this revolution?
I think that the quote unquote Divas Revolution was introduced to introduce, those three girls to Raw, to put Sasha on TV, to put Charlotte on TV, and then to put Becky on TV. I'm not sure how much of a revolution they want to consider it, but I think it was an interesting and catchy way to put them on TV to get people used to them. Perhaps they were just on TV too often, or in matches that had for no reason, you know what I mean? But it's definitely good to get more girls like that on TV, especially, girls that are talented. Like I love watching Sasha wrestle. I know a lot of people do. So I think the more girls of substance they put on TV, the better. And I know they did have a lot of matches with the fellas, but I mean, now the bellas aren't even on TV. So I think to keep a Divas Revolution going, they need to give these girls matches that have a reason. You know, obviously, matches where the title's on the line, or other, I guess, other stipulations of consequence, and just keep these girls in people's eyes and on people's minds. Give them good storylines to move their characters along, and let people get to know their characters. I don't remember exactly who it was, but one of the girls I think they put on TV without really introducing her. Like, yes, we've seen them in NXT, but not everyone watching not everyone knew who she was, and they didn't follow it up with, oh, this is so-and-so, and, here's her background, and here's a little bit about her. They just stuck some of them on TV with giving us a reason to like them. So I'm interested to see what they do with the girls on Raw. Like I said, I love Sasha, and I love Paige, and I would like to see both of them keep doing big things. So we'll see. I know that a lot of people are saying for Bayley to be on the main roster. I think that would be great too.
For Sasha, it's been a long time coming because
Mhm.
obviously Charlotte, and I like Charlotte, but people want to say, well, she's Ric Flair's daughter. Of course she's gonna get some recognition, get a push or whatsoever. And of course, Rick is
Mhm.
now everywhere she goes these days. For Becky
Yeah.
Lynch, I feel like she's just as good as the other two are. It's just that when you got that much talent on that roster, someone's got to be put to the back burner. And I think she was that person put to the back burner in NXT, while Bayley, Sasha, and Charlotte were getting their shine. And now it feels that way. It's going to be looking that way, now that it appears that Sasha will be next in line for Divas title opportunity. Most likely at Fastlane. It's just an assumption, but I guess that's the direction that they are going. For Bayley, I love Bayley. She's definitely proved to belong. She's people say, oh, she's just a huggable person. She's the female John Cena, so liked
Oh
it
no.
by young kids and stuff like that. I guess that's the perception I get for people. I don't think female John Cena is bad, but I guess because young kids like her, but she's
Yeah.
but she's real good. She's good at what she does, and I guess I don't know why she's not on the main roster as of yet. I guess because of who they have on the NXT roster right now, and they want to, keep them interested until, I guess, and even Bayley has acknowledged, I think on Breaking Ground it was, that she's not that much of a hurry to go to the main roster. She wants to stick around a little bit longer. She want to be a mentor. She want to be an asset there. Um, we all know NXT is a developmental territory, and at some point, and she's been developed enough that she's ready to go to the main roster. It's just a matter of when she'll be in the main roster. But I think
Mhm.
NXT is in good hands with the likes of an Oscar, who I I truly, really, really, really love Oscar. Uh, she's just amazing. Other girls out there ready to get their shine. They got an international feel to it. Girls all over the world coming to NXT. So I guess it's a matter of when. And Savannah, my goodness, we've been talking for nearly 40 minutes. And it was supposed
We've
to,
been having a good conversation,
yeah,
good discussion.
yeah, so, and you know what? I look forward to continuing that conversation when I get to meet you this coming Tuesday at Girl Fight Wrestling. You are in a 6-woman tag team match. Everybody go check that out at the arena, Jeffersonville, Indiana, Girl Fight Wrestling. A lot of talented women wrestlers are going to be there, and it's all for $5. That's like
Yes.
$5. So Savannah, thank you so much for your time. Continued success, and I look forward to meeting you. Are you gonna be at the intermissions, right? For
Yes, I will be out and about, definitely intermission. So we can definitely chat there and meet up.
Yeah, so stop by on the intermission booth, say hello, don't be shy, and just get an autograph and get a picture with her, you know.
Yeah, definitely. If you guys ever see me at shows, definitely come up, say hey. Let me know, hey, I heard you on, this radio show, or I heard you on that podcast, or, I've seen this match on YouTube. Definitely come say hey. We can definitely talk for a little bit. And on the same hand, too, I am on, if I'm not booked on shows, I am at a lot of shows at the High Spots table. I work for High Spots. So if you
Mm.
need any T-shirts, DVDs, gear, anything like that, I'm there, too, as well. Don't be shy about coming up and saying hey whenever you see me.
All right, well, great chatting with you, Savannah. Looking forward to meeting you this coming Tuesday. You have a good night, and you have a great weekend. Thank you for your time.
All right, thanks. Looking forward to seeing you. I appreciate you having me on the show. Thank you.
Absolutely. We definitely gonna have a part two in the very near future, for sure.
I'm definitely good for that.
You have a good night.
All right, you too.
All right, bye bye.
Bye.
That was Savannah.